Everyone, it is Yoshi100 here, and I'm back with yet another Puyo tutorial. It's been a while since my last one, but hey, I'm finally back, and I'm back with another program. Instead of just using my phone and getting the game on I'm now recording on a laptop, and I'm using the free software called Puyoverse, which is basically what we use for online battling. Like, if you've seen the tournament video, that's what we're using. I'll link it in the description. But anyway, to the tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching rushes, power chaining, and harassing. So we get started now. Now, a power chain is basically where you chain, but it's more powerful than a regular chain. It's pretty self-explanatory. So here you have a one chain power chain, or we just call it a power one. When you have two chains that are pretty big, we call that a hellfire, which comes from our second spell being fire. And if it's a three chain power chain, then they call it don't remember, I think it's a deadly freeze or something. No one uses that term, they just call it power 3, but that's just a fun fact. So basically, right, during a battle, you can seriously disrupt the opponent and send them multiple lines of garbage if you are able to harass them. That's basically where you do a small power chain just to annoy them. Like, if I were able to pull that during a battle, then the opponent will receive multiple lines of garbage. It'd be helpful if I could demonstrate right now, but unfortunately I can't. That's okay, you get the point anyway. Now, for example, say, if I had a regular, 5 chain, and I had a powerful 4 chain, then it would make the 4 chain stronger if it was able to power enough. Here's another hellfire. I don't know what I was doing, but I was setting something up. 2 chains, very powerful. Of course, they don't have to be all complicated. By far the easiest way to do it is like up into 2 colors. I forgot to do that. Just to build something as simple as this. I actually use this in my Toy Pop Fever speedruns. There we go. It's all fall together. Now, this is a good idea to use on any sort of player. Pro players, low level players. It's easy to pull on low level players, since if you can't chain high, then power chain is your way to go. Just pop more Puyo at once and make a stronger chain. Now let's demonstrate that with a regular chain. I'm gonna build GTR, but I'm gonna do this. Okay, so that's the chain. I'm gonna put these to the side until I get ready. This here is a power 3. 1, 2, 3. It's easier to tell if it's a power chain if more than one color pops out one. If it's just one color and there's like heaps of that one color being popped at once, it is still counted as a power chain, but it's just easier to do something like this, for example. And these harassers can seriously disrupt the opponent. That's basically what power chains do. And if we draw a comparison here, it's like, long and short of it is, if there is a lower power chain that hits a regular higher chain, the power chain has a chance to actually be more powerful than the higher chain, if it is powerful enough. Let's see. So, for example, okay, let's try to give an example. Here I've built stairs. Here's a 3 chain, right? And that's a pretty, it's kind of powerful. But then, if you build 2 chain, that is like, let's do something like this. Okay. If this causes any more chains, then it's an accident. Yep, alright, this looks right. If you do something like this, boom, major hellfire, it will probably turn out stronger than the 3 chain. And so that's basically the explanation for power chaining and harassments. Harassments are best made during the middle of the game, right? On a pro level, professional level, and expert level, you would use harassments to disrupt the opponent while they're building their chain, so that when they're building it, then the harass can block their chain up. It can even cause them to lose, right? Because if the opponent is chaining, if the opponent's chain is too high up, and you send harassment, and they're not prepared for it, then boom, dead. For example, if like this is here, right? And then you're like, oh, they're not prepared. Let's send a 2 chain. Boom. The nuisance point falls on top. And that's that for them. And knowing this, if you're gonna start harassing other people, then other people are gonna start harassing you. So you should always have something prepared on the side. And this is a good way to use any garbage Puyos that you have. As I've said in the past, right? I've said, oh, if you ever need to throw garbage Puyo away on the side, like you see these blues here, they're not very helpful. Then I've used these red and these blues, and I've created harassment here. That's basically just a good way to not be wasting your Puyo. And clearing them out one by one takes forever. So use it to your advantage and make it 2-3 chains and disturb your opponent. Now the last thing I mentioned was rushes, and this ties in nicely with Hellfires. Hellfires are known usually for being launched at the start of the game, because they can send a rock or 2 of damage depending on how powerful they are. Or I don't think 2 rocks actually, but depending on how powerful they are, they can just wipe out the opponent in one go if the opponent is building a regular chain and they're ready for it. So rushing is basically where you set off your chain early, and you're basically just rushing your chain. It's used either if the opponent is not ready, as in their chain isn't big enough, and you know that they're not able to extend in time. And the second reason for this is, well, it's just basically if the opponent is not ready, right? Then you just set it off. Set off your chain, and you're basically just rushing it. And this can do a number of things. Like this can pressure the opponent, because they'll be like, oh no, they set off their main chain, what do I do now? And then sometimes it even forces them to use their own chain up, because they're like, okay, I better dodge this right now. If you decided not to transition this for whatever reason, because you're being really stupid, and the opponent doesn't seem like they're going to well either, just use it, rush them. And hey, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, who knows. It's very risky if you don't have the skills to observe your opponent yet. That's one of the skills that I'll go through later on in the series. Stuff like observing your opponent, using the next bar, and color conflict, and all that sort of mumbo jumbo that probably doesn't make any sense right now. But hey, that's for the future episodes. Episodes, I always say episodes, I think I said that in the last tutorials as well. Yeah, this is the last, yeah, okay. But basically, hopefully this helped you. If it didn't, well then, boo-hoo, too bad, I guess. I don't know, leave a comment or something and say like, oh, this would have been more helpful if you did this, and maybe like, next time I'll add that in, or be like, oh yeah, I didn't mention this, which is really silly. Or if this didn't help at all and it was just really stupid, just okay, sure. But basically, yeah, that's basically it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. All the typical kind of stuff that everyone says at the end of the video. Just gotta get it out there. But anyway, keep practicing. Practice your normal training too. Make sure that you are not completely just spending your time harassing the opponent. Because if they are ready with a big chain and you harass them, if you harass with too much, then instead of disturbing them, you're gonna be wasting your Puyo, and it wouldn't be worth it. And they'll outchain you, and then you lose. It's kind of a risky thing, harassment is, but it can really pay off. That's basically the moral of today's tutorial. But anyway, thank you for watching, and keep practicing. See you in the next video.